the Book Lady, and I bring two books that I found that I want to share with you. And I have some very different books. The books are very different from each other. The first one we're going to read is called Hello, Lighthouse. It's very interesting, and I want you to listen carefully because you're going to learn a lot about a lighthouse. Here's a good picture of the lighthouse. This is the lighthouses from a long time ago when men and women lived in the lighthouse and took care of it, made sure it lit up for the ships. Then we're going to read a crazy one. Creepy carrots. So we'll get to that. And you'll notice that I brought my little friends. These are like, he's a fisherman, and this is a sea captain because I thought they went with Hello, Lighthouse. All right. Now, there's a term in here they use a lot called a log. A log, L-O-G. It's not the kind of log you put in your fireplace. A log is a little book where you write down what happened to you that day. A little bit like a diary, but a diary is private. It's only for you. A log, anybody can read it. Okay? All right, here we go. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea, guiding the ships on their way. From dusk to dawn, the lighthouse beams. Hello, 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 lighthouse. The new keeper arrives to replace the old, to carry on tending the light. He polishes the lens and refills the oil and trims the burned end of the wick. Throughout the night, he winds the clockwork that keeps the lamp in motion so it can turn. During the day, he gives the round rooms, a fresh coat of sea green paint. He writes in the log book and threads his needle and listens to the gathering wind. The wind takes a deep breath and blows and blows. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper boils water and drinks his tea as he fishes for cod from the window. He sets the table and hums a tune and wishes for someone to talk to. Every few days, he writes a letter and throws it into the waves. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and waits for her reply. The sky grows dark and the waves rise and crash. Hello, hello, hello. Whoa, that's a storm. The keeper looks through his telescope. The tender is a little boat that brings him supplies. The tender arrives bringing oil and flour and pork and beans and his wife. He shows her around the round rooms of their house. He tends the light and writes in the log book and sets the table for two. Oh, the fog makes everything disappear. A bell must be rung to warn the ships because they can't see the light. Clang, clang, clang. One thick night, disaster strikes. A boat is wrecked on the rocks. Not a moment to lose, the keeper rows out. He's brave. He pulls 3 sailors from the deep black sea. He tends the light and writes in his logbook and wraps the sailors in blankets. Whoa. The sea turns into a carpet of ice. Hello? Hello? Whew. Hello? One dawn, the keeper begins to sneeze. By dusk, he is terribly ill. His wife is everywhere all at once, running up and down spiral stairs. Look at those stairs. She tends the light and feeds him broth and chips ice off the lantern room windows so the light will show. She sits by his side and writes in the logbook the minute his fever breaks. See, she keeps track of all that. The icebergs pass by on their journey south. The whales pass by on their journey north. Hello, hello, hello. Inside the lighthouse, the woman walks around and around the room. Her husband boils water and helps her breathe in and out. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and notes the birth of their child. And I think this was fun because, look, the writing goes around. I think that's fun. The birth of their child. Oh, baby was born in a lighthouse. The sky erupts in swirls of green. Hello, hello, hello. That is the borealis, the lights. And you see these in northern states, maybe in Canada, Michigan, Alaska. Yeah, and they're almost spooky, but they're gorgeous. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans and the mail, along with fresh books and news from the land. Oh, there's an unexpected letter with the Coast Guard seal. The keeper winds the clockwork and polishes the lens just like he's always done. He tends the light and writes in the logbook, but knows that it's not for long. Together, they watch the horizon. The Coast Guard arrives with a brand new light and installs the machine to run it. No lamp to fill, no wick to trim. The keeper's work is done. He climbs to the top of the spiral stairs and closes the logbook for good. They pack their belongings into the boat and wave farewell to the seagulls. Beyond the breakers, they all look up. Goodbye, Lighthouse. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Look at this. Over the waves, across the bay, a light on the land beams back. Hello, 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 Lighthouse. See, they've left the lighthouse and now they live on the shore. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to the sea. The fog rolls in and the fog rolls out. The waves rise and crash. The wind blows and blows. Hello? 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 And there they are now. They are a family, and they're looking out across the water. And what do they see? They see their lighthouse. And you know, this book is very interesting because at the end, Look at all that writing. You'll have to have your mom or dad read that. It tells all about lighthouses, and I read it, and it's just so interesting. You know, to be a person who works in the lighthouse back then, you had to be a different type of person. You had to be comfortable with being alone a lot. And if you loved to work in the garden, there was no garden. You're covered by rocks. Rocks are all around you, and you are out, sort of way out in the middle of the sea. And, you know, a big storm comes and it can get kind of scary. But you have to do your job. And that is to keep the glass clean so the light can shine through. If you've ever seen what's called a hurricane lamp, and I saw one in this, I'm going to show you a hurricane lamp. You may have one at your home. It's right down here. Well, it's very similar to that. The lighthouse is like a giant hurricane lamp. And sometimes these hurricane lamps, the glass can get kind of black and smoky. And you got to wash them out. And that's what the gentleman in the lighthouse would do. And he'd cut the wick down. And he had to turn it. Yeah, wind it so it would turn. But then someone invented a motor and a way to do this so they didn't need to have someone out there. And that's good, but it's a little bit sad because that man lost his job. But maybe he was ready to move into a home and be with his family. We will never know. Anyway, I thought it was interesting to learn a little more about lighthouses. And you will see on this page, they on the back cover, they showed the different, you know, and it's winding stairs that go up. Isn't that something? Do you think you could live in a lighthouse? These guys would probably like to live in them. No, he'd like to live on the beach and fish. And I think he wants to be on a ship. Yeah. Okay, here we go, guys. Creepy carrots. And look, I made my own creepy carrot. How about that? When I'm done here, I may wash him off and eat him. But right now, he's here to hear this book too. It's by Aaron Reynolds. I'd love to meet Mr. Reynolds. Don't you love these cover pages? Carrot, 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 carrot. All right, here we go. Creepy carrots. Are you ready? Jasper Rabbit had a passion for carrots, and the carrots that grew in Krakenhopper Field were the best. Ooh, fat, crisp, and free for the taking. Wow. He pulled some for a morning snack on the way to school. He yanked out a few on his way to Little League practice. He ripped them from the ground on his way home at night. Ugh. Jasper couldn't get enough carrots. Of course, Jasper is a rabbit. Until the carrots started following him. Ooh. He first noticed something strange after the big game against the East Valley Hares. Jasper was about to help himself to a victory snack when he heard it. The soft, sinister means very bad, very bad. The soft, sinister tunk, tunk, tunk of carrots creeping. He turned, but nothing was there. Okay, just my imagination. But he hopped a little faster. That night, as he was brushing his teeth, they were there. Jasper whipped around, but nothing. He laughed at himself, picked his toothbrush off the floor, and went to bed quickly. The next morning, he approached Krakenhopper Field slowly. He reached for 2 wild carrots, but nothing happened. He bit into one. Nothing happened. Whew! Creepy carrots. Oh, it was ridiculous. But when he arrived home that evening, Mom! Creepy carrots in the shed. His mom opened the door slowly. There weren't any carrots, not even the regular kind. There are no such thing as creepy carrots. Later that night, as Jasper lay in bed, he heard it. Breathing. Terrible, carroty breathing. And there, on his wall. Creepy carrots! Dad! Dad! His dad thumped into his bedroom and threw on the light. They searched under the bed. No creepy carrots. They looked through the closet. No creepy carrots. They opened the dresser drawers. No creepy carrots. Oh, just a bad dream, son. Now go to sleep. Well, that wasn't going to happen. By the end of the week, Jasper was seeing creepy carrots creeping everywhere. Ugh. Jasper knew his parents were wrong. Creepy carrots were real, and they were coming for him. But they couldn't get him if they couldn't get out. Idea. Jasper hatched a plan. First thing on Saturday, he grabbed supplies and headed to Krakenhopper Field. Now, I'm going to look at these pictures. First, he measures off the area where the carrots are. And then you see he's bringing in some boards. Oh my, he's digging a moat. Do you know what a moat is? It's like a little ditch that goes around your castle, around your house. Then they fill it with water. So you can't get in. Now he's filling it with water. He's putting up the fence. Oh boy. He's busy. As the sun finally set across Krakenhopper Field, Jasper Rabbit smiled. On his way home, there was no tunk, tunk, tunk. There were no carrot-shaped shadows. His plan had worked. No creepy carrots would ever get out of that carrot patch again. He showed them, didn't he? So, as the sun finally set, the carrots of Krakenhopper Field cheered! Oh, their creepy plan had worked. They were sure of it. Jasper Rabbit would never get into that carrot patch ever again. So, this is funny because Jasper would just stop and eat carrots all the time. Go to school, grab a few carrots, come home, grab a few carrots, go to Little League, grab a few carrots. The carrots had had it. So they decided to teach old Jasper a lesson. And they sort of got in his head. And they started creeping, following him. Some people might call it stalking. Yes. And he'd turn around. Where were they? They were very clever carrots. So Jasper said, they're not going to bother me anymore because I'm building a fence around them, and then I'm putting a moat around them, and I think in the moat, I'm pretty sure I saw, yes, alligators. You see them down there? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no one was getting in there. Well, that's exactly what the carrots wanted. They didn't want anyone picking them. Leave us alone. And it worked. So I love the picture, the illustration. Remember, we talked about that big grown-up word, illustration, and it means the pictures. But I think this is fantastic. Do you see? They're peeking through the fence. I don't know, it cracks me up. I think it's hilarious. Don't you love those carrots? And those are the creepy carrots, and they're looking and saying, yay! No one's going to come in here and snatch us out of the ground. And you know carrots grow down in the ground. If you plant carrot seeds, green stuff comes out that you can see, but the carrot is growing down in the dirt. And it's growing down like that, and there'd be green stuff coming off here. And when you go out to the garden, you grab the green stuff and you get a good hold of it, and you got yourself a carrot. Now, it won't have a face on it like mine, but I'm going to take a peeler and just take that off. And you know, carrots are really, really good for you. And they're just a great snack. I mean, they're better than a potato chip, I think. But they're fantastic. Love carrots. So I hope that you had fun with me as we read two very different books. We learned about lighthouses. And you usually are going to see lighthouses near the ocean. But some of the big lakes have lighthouses too. And back in the olden days, the lighthouses had a person who lived in them and took care of that light. At the very top, you can see he's up there taking care of that light. And you know, he had more to do than you would think. But everything he did, he wrote down in his what? His log book. Everything he did. So you could, if he brought that back with him, he could look at it and know that on such and such a day, a big storm hit the area. And see, he had to be very careful during storms. He really had to make sure his lighthouse worked, because that's when ships out at sea might have some trouble. And it happened. Remember? Oh, and then I love this picture. That's the fog. Have you ever been in very thick fog? It can be very dangerous because you can't see. And you know what? The light barely can go through the fog. So what did he do? He clanged a bell. And as I read more about this, you clang the bell and clang the bell, but actually used like a hammer, and you hit it and you hit it. And some people had to hit it for like a day or two because the fog was so thick and it lasted so long. And they just, they couldn't stand it. So it was a big job running the lighthouse, and I hope that you learned a little more about lighthouses. I was interested in it. I found it at the library. so I brought it to share with you. And I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't sure about this creepy carrots. But my friend said, "Oh, book lady, please, please, will you read creepy carrots?" And I just didn't get it. I thought maybe they'd been overcooked and they were soft and mushy. I just didn't even want to think about it. But I went to the library and I was having so much fun there. I was pulling out so many different books. And so I sat down and read Creepy Carrots and I thought, this is kind of funny. I like this. And I like the way it ended. Really, who won? Jasper thinks he won because he fenced in those carrots. Yeah, they can't get to him. But guess what? Maybe the carrots won because they were sick of Jasper coming into the field and eating them. So maybe they both won. Yeah. And I said, okay, I'm going to get this book. But I got more books. And I'm going to bring them to you to read because you know that's what I do. The book lady brings 2 books to share with you. You may not like all of them. You may love them. But it's just fun to hear different books read. And you can decide what you like. This was more of this is almost like a history book, but a story. I think you'd call it historical fiction. It's based on the way things really were. But they kind of, this book, but they kind of turned it into a story. But these are the jobs that the person in the lighthouse did. So, hope you liked it. And I'm going to remind you that you can also watch The Book Lady, all the episodes, all the books we have read. Some of them are behind me, but there are a whole lot of them back at the library. Because see, when I take the books out and I'm done reading them, I take them back to the library so that somebody can enjoy them. But you can go on YouTube, and you type in The Book Lady. Pretty simple. And you can sit and we will read books forever and ever and ever. And until next time, for Hello Lighthouse and Creepy Carrots, and from me, the Book Lady, I hope I see you again next time, and goodbye.